Total Down Nation.
What is up, guys? It's your man TLD Crabman. I'm here with another fantastic video. Oh yeah, and today I'm going to be showing you, like the title says, how I believe Lionheart might be one of the best blessings that you can use. How so? Well, let me explain it to you, starting with the blessing itself. Alright, so when it comes to Lionheart Legacy, you have lightning arrows, erupting arrows, and the mark, okay? Why this is so important is because there's a bunch of gear out there that can give you buffs. Attack 6% attack power buff. I mean, there's a lot of buffs that you can gain just from erupting arrows itself. There's not a lot for lightning arrows and other abilities. The mark has a couple that decreases attack power, and I'm not too fond of those, but let me get more in depth with you here and I'll explain why. So when it comes to using this this blessing, because it has erupting arrows and the mark, you can combine these to have an insane stack of buffs. Okay, so what I mean by this is, so let's just, for instance, here's a horse. Okay, so if I reload my arrows, already my crit hit's going to be higher. I'm going to apply the mark, and then I'm also going to use erupting arrows. As you can see there, I was doing over 11,000 damage. That's without using the buffs. That was strictly just the erupting arrow itself. And because I have a cooldown equipment on my belt here, I was able to use the erupting arrow almost immediately right after defeating that guy. So that is one of the big perks about using this blessing, is that because it has the mark, you automatically, if you have it upgraded, get that 35% damage, not only for you but your entire team, which is huge in dungeons, to be able to have that extra 35% constantly being applied to the boss, as well as, because of the erupting arrow, you get increased erupting arrow damage plus 5%, which it's already over. Well, the numbers on here are shit, okay? The numbers are off. But the cooldown here is 15 seconds as well. Because of my belt, which reduces it by 3.5 seconds, I'm now looking at 12.5 seconds on that cooldown, which is insanely fast. It's kind of like Fireball, but Fireball is way faster. But then when you come to the second upgrade, you're looking at using erupting arrows increases the damage of your combo attacks plus 5% for 4 seconds. That, I believe, needs to be increased, because by the time you're done using your erupting arrows, it is almost impossible to get a full combo in before that 4 seconds is up. Like, it's insanely fast. But using this erupting arrow over and over, if you have the ability to have this, this helmet, the bloody headdress, using erupting arrow increases your attack power plus 6.3% for 7 seconds. There are better headdresses out here, okay? The roll that I got was about in between. You can, I think you can get up to about 10%. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. But you can get it a lot higher than what I'm rolling with right now. But that's 6.3%, okay, of my attack. So 6.3% of 4,200. That's gonna be rocking maybe another 200-300 attack power for 6 seconds. It's not insanely much, but it's a good boost, because not only do you have that increased attack power, but then your crit hit is also going to be increased as well, or your damage, because your crit hit damage is based off your attack power overall. But keeping that in mind, so now when I use this ability, I am stacking those perks, all these buffs. Now I'm doing almost 2 grand per shot on these guys, rather than doing only 1,600 damage, okay? The ability to stack the mark plus the erupting arrow and how often, because of the cooldown, you can apply that erupting arrow is insane. If you were to try to use any other skill, the cooldown rate is just insane. Lightning arrows is 32 seconds. The mark is 30 seconds, which the mark obviously, lasts long enough. But fire from above is 20 seconds, and then parting shot is also 15 seconds. But the problem with parting shot is when you use it, it's kicking you about 10 feet backwards, 10 meters actually. That is bad. It's good against like an arena boss like this, but when you're in a dungeon and the border is completely surrounded by like death, like the goo guy or a lot of the dungeon monsters or bosses, having that kickback isn't really great. And the goal is you want to be able to use this ability over and over and over to apply that buff to your damage and stuff repetitively. Not so much for the damage, just so you have that buff to increase your damage while you're using your normal shots. If you were to come to Nightwind, it's the same thing. You have parting shot, smoke bomb, and thundering arrows. Okay, so for your Tempest shot, if you didn't want to run erupting arrow with the mark, you could do Nightwind, but you're not going to be able to have as much. Those buffs aren't going to be there. You're not going to be able to use it as often. In a sense, you become more of a glass cannon. In a way, so rather than having that constant erupting arrow running with the constant buff and the attack power and the increased crit hits and all that, you're trying to use your thundering arrows as often as possible. That's your goal, is you want to apply the mark and run your thundering arrows. Now that you can shrink that cooldown to about 18-17 seconds, but that's still, if you look at your mark, it's only gonna last, let's see, 10 seconds. Mark duration, so 20 seconds. So you're only gonna get to use your thundering arrow at the most once when firing that, if that makes sense. Okay, so using the mark and the thundering arrow combo is actually worse because you're only gonna be able to get that one shot in there with all of that damage, and that's if you can get that third part charge in there. And honestly, I can say for myself, the most I can get in with the charge shot on the Tempest is the charge 2. I can never get that third charge off. So in reality, you're not gonna benefit from using the mark and thundering arrows, as where with Lionheart using erupting arrows every 12 seconds, you can use it twice in the duration of where the mark is, and you can actually not only apply damage but apply a buff for yourself and apply the mark for everybody else. I know this is kind of hard to keep up with, and it's kind of hard to get your mind to grasp around the idea of this. So that's partially why I'm trying to take my time on this video and really explain it, is because people are trying to make builds for the best thing possible, and I can tell you guys right now, I have bought in several pieces of A gear trying to make this work, and the only one that I see that's actually worth it is Centurion's Command, which is this one right here. Not only do you get the mark and all of its buffs, but the Tempest shot actually has enough damage overall that it's actually worth that single shot, because and the increased abilities from it is insane. Tempest Volley damage plus 5%. Hitting an enemy with Tempest Volley increases critical hit rate for plus 5% for 3 seconds. Now that, I don't know why the fuck it's only for 3 seconds. There's no way. You might get one fucking arrow in there after that 3 seconds. I think that's retarded. They need to increase the duration on that, but I don't know why they haven't. But this right here, this is important. Increased critical hit rate 1 must be unlocked, okay? but the Tempest Volley penetrates targets. Now, if you don't know, there is like an unspoken stat in Bless, and it's penetration. Okay, there's like one ring that I have found, one piece of gear that actually has a penetration stat on it, and it increases penetration. I'm a firm believer that everybody knows about the soft damage cap now. I am a firm believer that that penetration might ignore quite a bit of that soft cap damage due to the fact that you're penetrating their defense. So what I'm hoping is that they come out with a penetration stat and they or add some gear that has penetration with it, because if that was the case, that would be phenomenal to be able to ignore enemy armor. But also it has increased Tempest Volley damage +5 and +5%. So this one's actually worth it to combine it with the volley shot, just because of the amount of damage you can output is almost equal, or going to be equal to the amount that you can do with 2 eruption arrows, plus the bonuses that you get from this guy, being able to use it twice, having your attack power boosted up by 6-7%, whatever the amount was, twice, and be able to get your combos in there in between. So your goal is basically you're just stacking your abilities over and over and over, and having a constant buff on your character non-stop. So, and then just having that reload is pretty nice as well. And as well with Lionheart, not only do you get the Tempest shot, but you also get your Erupting Arrow and the Mark. With Lionheart, you're really just set up here. I know it's a basic blessing, but it really is a good blessing to be able to use all of that stuff. So once again, I will show you guys. You can place the Mark, use your Erupting Arrow, and if it doesn't kill the enemy, which I don't know why I didn't, but as you can see there, I'm almost doing 4,000 damage on my second arrows in between, when normally I'm only doing 1,600 damage. That is acidine. Plus, with the reload and you increase your crit hit rate, you're able to not only do the Mark as well, but now see that crit hit just hit there for 9,000, which was pretty insane. You also keep your buffs, so for a decent amount of time. It's honestly, guys, Lionheart is an amazing blessing to run. It's just you can buff yourself in so many different ways, as well as helping your team with that Mark constantly. It's just a evil combination of stuff. Now, if you have stayed with me this far and you're interested in the gear that I'm running, I'm gonna go through it with you guys and tell you my advice on it. Okay, for the bow, I hope you guys are running a better bow. This bow was just to increase my attack power in the time being when I needed a bow, and I just grabbed what I could, because I planned on changing it to a crit hit bow later on. I do plan on still getting that. When it comes to the quiver, I using reload increases my critical hit rate plus 3.5%, because I want those crits. I want the most amount of damage I can put out. I use the bloody headdress. Using an erupting arrow increases your attack power plus 6.3% for 7 seconds. That's makes it all worthwhile. I use ancient sentry tunic, increase critical hit rate plus 3.66%. And then I have my defense on my legs, due to the fact there is no slacks that increase critical hit, attack power, or any of that. That's why you want to run defense on your slacks. I use Boots of Vigilance, which increase the critical hit rate plus 4.95%. Then as well as use Bloody Gloves to increase my attack power there a bit. So you want to have a balance with attack power and critical rate. Okay, I found it best running at least 20% crit hit rate, and the rest you can make attack power. And then I would have one piece for increased critical hit damage. Okay, as well as I'm running the Inspector Belt, reduces erupting arrow cooldown by 3.5 seconds, and I used to run reduced Tempest Volley cooldown. Well, like I say, guys, I've been really experimenting. I have bought multiple pieces of A grade for this to really toy with and play around with and find the best build. When it comes to the ring, right now I'm using the critical hit rate because it's plus 4.05%, and the horde ring is just a really good, quick crit rate increase for a build early on. I'm right now working towards the Lynch's ring, which attack power plus 417. That is amazing. But when it comes to attack power, you guys got to keep in mind you do have a soft cap that's about 5 level difference, or not 5 level difference, about 2 level difference. Okay, if you're level 30, your damage, you're gonna do full damage to anything from 28 to 32. Anything above 32, anything below 28, you're gonna do less damage, and they're gonna have more defense and health. Okay. When it comes to, you can also run the Violent Tides ring, which is a slight increase of attack power or crit hit damage, 13.5% as well. I'm going for the Desert Song ring and the Corrupted Necklace. Those are the best builds, or best that I can use at the moment. But they are super expensive, and I have not gotten them yet. But I will, like I said, be getting a crit hit bow instead of the bow that I'm running right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry this was a longer video. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this and really going through it, trying to combine the best combination of gear I could to make this the best I possibly can make it. And so far, I have found this combination to be just overwhelmingly good on damage. I'm sure that if I had like a 30 to 40% critical hit rate, and I had some really good attack power rolls on some of my gear, I could run the Crescent Moon with the mark, and or I don't even know if it has a mark. Hold on, let me. So I would actually run Crescent Moon just because it has fire from above and the erupting arrow, and the Tempest Volley with the multiple shots, just because you want those crits. So the more arrows you're throwing, the more critical hits you're gonna get. But other than doing that, I'm going to be sticking with Lionheart Legacy. It is overall an amazing blessing. And as you guys go through it, you can see the passive that you can earn is reduced charging time for Tempest Shot, Tempest Volley, and Thundering Arrows, -5%. You also get that with Centurion's Command, increased damage of these as well if you get Centurion's Command. And honestly, I would get Storm Chaser just because it's got that defense penetration plus 3%. But that is a lot of points to be able to get that stuff. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry that it was a long video. I just really wanted you guys to be able to understand it. If you have any questions or there's things that you still don't understand, please comment down below and let me know. If you feel like that you have a build that's better, or you could put out more damage than what you think I'm being able to put out, please comment down below. Let us know. If you're not a sub here, please consider subscribing. We got a lot of good content here. I'm a daily, or at least I try to be every other day, blessed content creator. I'm still putting it out there for you guys. I'm really trying to help and make a difference for everybody still, as long as I can. If you found yourself that you learned something new, or if my video really helped you, please hit that like button. It really makes a difference for me, and it really helps out the Lockdown team as well. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.